Hello friends, welcome to another video. This is a super exciting video because today we're going to learn how to do triple crochet. So we start off with our beautiful hook and with the little project that we started in our last episode with our rows of single, double, single, double, single, double. So what I'm going to do before I get into the triples is do a teeny tiny refresher of how to do your single crochet and how to do your double crochet just by doing one additional row of each. Now this is actually really exciting because not only is it a fantastic practice swatch, which is basically what we call our little practice run. So you might make a 10 by 10 centimeter swatch to practice a technique, practice a new stitch, or practice the tension for a project. So, but the fantastic thing about this one is that you can keep going it as big or as small as you want, as wide, as skinny as you want, and you can turn it into a scarf, or you can sew it together to make a little purse, or, basically the possibilities are only limited by your imagination. So let's start off by doing another row of singles just as a refresher. So we start with a chain of 1. Then we go in through the top of our double crochet stitch, wrap around our yarn, hook it through, and then pull through like that. So let's go through nice and slow again. So because it's a single, we don't hook anything around the yarn before we start. We just go straight through the top of the stitch. So straight through the top of the stitch there. We turn our hook slightly so we can grab that yarn and then pull him there we go, pull him directly through. Focus went a little bit silly just there, and then pull through again. All right, so I'll just continue on and just finish up that row of nice, tidy single crochet stitches that we can all do as a nice, easy practice. And the great thing about single crochets is that basically it's because it's one of the simplest stitches, you don't really have to think too much while you're doing it. So it's very easy to work on a single crochet stitch project while you're watching TV or listening to music or doing something else, listening to podcasts or audiobooks even, because you don't really, once you get the hang of it, you don't really need to think too much and you can just focus on whatever other tasks are at hand. So over time, you will get used to how all of the stitches feel. So as you progress along, and especially with thicker yarns and bigger hooks, you'll be able to actually feel the tops of every stitch, and you'll just about be able to do it in the dark. Okay, so now a row of double crochet, just as a reminder. So we chain 2, then we wrap it around the hook once, pop him through the top of the last stitch, yarn over and pull him through, and then pull through once, twice. So remember what I said before, that because it's a double crochet, you're kind of looking at doing things in groups of 2. So yarn over, we start off our stitch with 2 pieces of yarn on the hook. Then once we go through our stitch, we're going through and there's 2 additional pieces of yarn on the hook. Then we hook him over and pull him through, and then hang on, 3 on the hook, that's not quite right. Let's yarn over and pull it through. There we go, there's 2. Yarn over, pull it through, and now we're complete. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense to you, but basically that's how I tend to look at it. So if we're looking at a single crochet, we're basically looking at doing things once, predominantly with one loop on the hook, twice through with doubles. So we're looking at doing things with 2 loops on the hook, and triples, 3 loops on the hook, and so forth. There are a lot of other sort of more intricate stitches that we are definitely going to get to. Some of my favorites, like the fan stitches and our front and back post crochet stitches, which I guarantee you'll love because it adds just the most beautiful level of texture to a product, to like something that you'll ever see. Just pristine, beautiful. And it's also super easy. So you'll be really excited when people say, wow, how did you get that amazing texture onto the scarf or onto that blanket? And you can say, oh, you know what, it was really tricky. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, that was my favorite stitch all along, so it was really great to do it. All right, so we're just continuing on with doubles. Now don't worry at all if you're not as fast as this. Don't worry if it takes you, 10 minutes to do a row. It's not a race. It's really, at the start, it's all about getting the motions down. And see, I'll just move my work away a little bit more so you can just see the movements of my hand. So you just want to get your hand used to those movements. And people will crochet differently. Some people I know will crochet more like this, which I can't do because I can't even hold a pencil right. I prefer to hold it right in my hand where I feel like I've got a lot of control. So now we're just going to do our last double of the row right there. Now it's time to do a triple. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our work over, because 99% of the time, every time we're working a pattern, we're going to be turning our work. Some patterns will say, just to continue working all the way around, so you never change sides, which is very interesting. But the pattern will always tell you which way you're supposed to face your work. All right, so a triple. We start off by chaining 1, 2, 3. And if you remember from earlier in our little practice pattern, this doesn't count as a stitch itself. So because it's a triple, we're going to wrap the yarn around once, wrap the yarn around twice. So triple, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so again, we go into the top of the stitch below. Okay, we yarn over and pull him through. Now, you'll see here that you've got 4 little loops on the hook. What we want to do is yarn over and pull through 2 of those loops, yarn over, pull through 2 of those loops, and yarn over, pull through 2 of those loops. And there's our very first triple. So we yarn over twice there, so we wrap it around, triple crochet, 3 loops on the hook to start with. Okay, we pop him through the top of the stitch below, yarn over and pull through. And then remember, it's a triple, so we yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops once, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops a second time, yarn over, pull through 2 of the loops a third time. So you can see it's quite a bit taller than our singles and our doubles. So a triple crochet is used really frequently for making spaces in patterns as well. So that's a technique called filleting crochet, where you basically use gaps in order to create a pattern, which some of the filleting crochet patterns you can find just look incredible. Okay, so another one, 3 loops on the hook, through the little stitch there, yarn over and pull through 2, 2, and 2. So basically we're just doing what we've done with a double crochet, but we're doing it 3 times. So 3 loops on the hook, through the bottom, through the top of our stitch below, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through 2 once, pull through 2 twice, pull through 2 3 times. Now, in the previous row, you would have seen me actually lose my stitches. So I'm going to show you really quickly, using a triple crochet, how to fix that, because I didn't explain as I was going, because obviously I was talking about something else, as I want to do. Okay, so let's say we're going to go through 1, 2, and let's say we lose it. Okay, lost it. Here's our hook, here's our yarn, and we've gone, oh my gosh, completely lost, everything's lost, all hope is lost. No, calm down, no need to panic. Okay, so if like here you can really easily see where your stitches are, you just want to hook your crochet hook back through those. Okay, no harm, no foul. Or let's say, I don't know, it's pulled too tight, it's started to unravel. See, unraveling, oh my god, drama. No drama. Let's just hook through the top of the previous stitch and unravel it. A really fun time that we call unraveling is frogging. You say frogging, what are you talking about? So basically you're ripping the yarn. So rip it, sounds like a frog. So instead of saying, oh my god, we're ripping our yarn to pieces, we say, I just had to frog a couple of rows back. So it makes it a little bit less dramatic, a little bit more fun than saying, I had to rip out so many rows. You say, nope, I just had to frog some of my work, but you know what? No drama, because you can always do it again. The whole thing is just about practicing. And even though I'm here showing you guys how to do some different stitches, you know, and I'll be showing you guys how to do small patterns and things like that, I'm in no way perfect, and I often have to go back and frog out some rows if I've made a mistake, especially with counting. I'm always making mistakes with counting. Get a yarn counter, by the way. It'll be really handy. I actually have a yarn counter on my Fitbit, which I'll just quickly pop over to. See? Row counter. So I can go 1, 2, 3, whatever, and count my rows through this. So a regular little yarn counter that you can tuck on your finger, or a manually operated one, which is kind of just like a little tiny tube. That'll come in handy for you as well as you get onto your bigger projects where counting the rows are essential. But luckily for you, you have a teacher who isn't especially concerned with the number of rows. Basically, my motto is that you make it to the size that suits you. So I've made plenty of shawls where it'll say, okay, this shawl is 40 rows, and I will make my shawl 80 rows because, first of all, I want it to double as a blanket. Second of all, I want it to be a glorious cape with glorious wings. And third, it just feels nicer for me when it's longer. Some people might like shorter, that's up to them. Best thing about crochet is that every stitch you make is your decision. So you can stick to things, you can change it, you can do as much as you like. Right, now you can see here, we have our very first row of triple crochet. And coincidentally, we also have our very first pattern. And what I mean by that is you've got a perfect practice swatch. Or, if you want, you can do a repetition of a row of singles, a row of doubles, a row of triples. Then, another row of doubles, followed by a row of singles, followed by a row of doubles, followed by a row of triples. So you'll get that constant small, medium, large, medium, small pattern, back and forth for as long as short as you want. It looks really interesting, and it makes for a very, very nice scarf. I know some of you are in warmer climates. This is true. We may live in Australia, but you know, you can wear a scarf for any occasion. The beauty of this beautiful lightweight cotton is that a skinny scarf can just be tied around your neck as an accessory, and it doesn't actually have to add additional heat. So, you know, you use the product depending, like, and by product I mean the yarn. Use the yarn that you need for the product that you want. So if you want a thick woolly scarf, use some thick woolly wool. If you want something nice and skinny, very light, use something light. Use something lovely, you know. And I'm just going to show you one last thing before we go, which is something very exciting, which I made fairly recently. And I made this using chains, using double crochets, and using 1 triple per row. Okay, now this is what the sort of thing that, just by knowing what we've talked about in these last 3 episodes, 3 discussions, you could go out and make this. You could make this exact pattern. Okay? You could be making something at this level, as long as you have the patience for it, of course. And what I'm going to do a little bit later on is teach you actually how to read patterns, which will help you with making something like this. Okay, I'll put a link to this pattern into our description below, so you know exactly where to go and the amazing lady who created this pattern. And if you do decide to give it a go and you have questions, pop them down in the comments. I would be more than happy to give as much or as little guidance on helping to make this pattern as you want or as you need. And if there are any other patterns that you come across that you're wondering, how do I make that? How do I do that? Let me know. I'm more than happy to help. So this pattern right here can be made using just these stitches. Isn't it amazing? Just combining your stitches in a different way, you can end up with a funky different level stitch scarf, or you can end up with some beautiful wings. Alright, well, until next time, happy crocheting, and in our next video, I think I might show you a nice, pretty easy, but also kind of tricky looking little pattern that we can work on together. Have a great day. Bye.